Hello and welcome back to English Unlimited podcast, the place where we break down English for you. I'm your host, Charlie.
And I'm Jamie. Good to see everyone.
It's so glad you could join us. And I have to start today with a bit of a confession.
Ooh, go on.
Because this whole deep dive is about self-introductions, and I have had this exact horrible, cringy experience.
I think we all have.
Right. It's that universal problem. You're meeting someone new, maybe it's a professional thing, and you've got this perfect English sentence rehearsed in your head.
Mm-hmm. Lined up and ready to go.
Exactly. You're ready to share your job, your background, everything, and then they look at you, the pressure just hits, and your mind goes completely, totally blank.
The dreaded neurological shutdown. It's paralyzing, isn't it?
It's awful. And all that comes out is something just minimal, or even worse, something awkward, like, my name's Charlie, I like food.
Oh, no, not the I like food.
I've done it. Or, I am from Spain, I work here, and you just feel this incredible heat, this wave of embarrassment, because you're more fluent than that, but the pressure just shuts it all down.
That feeling is universal. And you've hit on exactly why we need systems, not just, lists of vocabularies.
Systems. I like that.
Yeah. When the pressure is on, you fall back on structures that are automatic. So today, our mission is to give you those tools to eliminate that pressure so you can succeed even when you're feeling nervous.
Okay, so what's the plan for this deep dive? It sounds like we're covering a lot, from grammar to, well, how you stand.
We're doing an extreme deep dive into the art of making a flawless first impression. We'll start with a strategic framework, an 8-step model that's like a blueprint for any introduction.
A blueprint, good. I need that.
Then we're going to surgically fix some of those subtle but really important professional-level grammar mistakes that even advanced learners miss.
Ah, the ones that stick around forever.
The fossilized ones, exactly. And finally, we'll explore that critical link between your body language and your tone of voice to make sure you sound confident, even if, your inner monologue is panicking.
I love that. It's the whole package. The structure, the details, and the delivery. And you teased something earlier, some specific phrases that can make a huge difference.
I did. We are going to correct 3 crucial, very often misused English phrases. If you fix these, your perceived competence just shoots right up.
Okay, I'm ready. What are they?
First, we'll show you why you should never say, explain me.
Ooh, I hear that one a lot.
All the time. Or the other really common one, I think yes.
Guilty. Totally guilty of that one.
And the last one is a bit more subtle. It's about the word we use instead of how. When we're asking for the name of something, it seems small, but it's a high priority fix for sounding natural.
Those little fixes are what separate B1 confidence from B2 polish, right?
Absolutely. So you're not going to want to miss those corrections later on.
Okay, this sounds fantastic. A complete guide to first impressions.
Agreed. And before we jump into the first section, which is all about strategy, we have one essential request for you.
We do. If you love the idea of feeling more confident and moving past those embarrassing conversational stalls in English, please take a second right now. Hit that subscribe button for English Unlimited podcast. Give us a 5-star review if you can, and let's dive into the core content.
Let's do it. Strategy first.
So we're not starting with a list of things to say about ourselves. We're starting with strategy.
Exactly. Because an introduction isn't just a list of facts. It's an action. And it's an action designed for a specific setting and a specific purpose. It all comes down to the crucial role of context and tone.
Right. That's the foundation. If you get the context wrong, it doesn't matter how perfect your grammar is.
You'll just sound awkward. The very first question you have to ask yourself before you even open your mouth is, where am I and who am I talking to?
And that leads us right into our first big concept. Pragmatic competence.
It does.
Okay, let's unpack this. Pragmatic competence. It sounds a little heavy, a bit academic. I'm guessing it's actually a very practical skill, though.
It's intensely practical, I promise. Pragmatic competence is, it's the ability to choose the right linguistic register, the right tone for whatever social environment you're in.
So it's not just knowing the words.
No. It's knowing when and where to use the language you already know. It's about understanding those unwritten social rules.
So if I understand grammar, I have the ability to speak. But if I understand pragmatic competence, I know how to be appropriate.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
That's the perfect distinction. And to make it really simple, let's use an analogy. I always think of it like choosing a coat.
A coat. Okay, I like simple comparisons. Tell me more.
Pragmatic competence is like choosing the right coat. You wouldn't wear a heavy insulated winter coat.
Yeah.
A huge puffy jacket.
Yeah.
To the beach in the middle of summer.
Of course not. You'd look ridiculous and probably get heat stroke.
Exactly. It would be completely inappropriate, uncomfortable, and, frankly, just confusing to everyone. And likewise, you wouldn't wear a light t-shirt to a formal business meeting in a blizzard.
Right. The environment dictates the attire.
Precisely. And just as the context dictates the clothes you wear, the context dictates the language and the tone you use.
That analogy is brilliant because it really brings in that confusion factor. If my language is grammatically correct but pragmatically wrong, I'm confusing the listener, they don't know what to do with what I'm saying.
Yes. So the key comparison here is between grammatical competence, which is knowing the rules,
Subject-verb agreement, tenses, all that stuff.
all that good stuff. It's a difference between that and this idea of pragmatic competence, which is the real-world application of those rules. It's knowing how to use those perfect sentences to be polite or informal or super professional.
Depending on who's standing in front of you.
Exactly.
Can we make it even more concrete? Like with two clear, contrasting scenarios?
Let's do it. Okay, scenario A. You're meeting a new coworker at a very casual office party. Think, pizza and drinks on a Friday. The dress code is relaxed.
Okay, got it.
Scenario B. You're meeting a potential client who might sign $1 million contract with your company.
Whoa. Okay, very different stakes.
Totally different. So in scenario A, the office party, you'd aim for a neutral or casual register.
Yeah.
Your language should be flexible. You'd probably talk about shared interests or what you did over the weekend.
Right. I might say something like, hey, I'm Charlie. Great party, huh? I'd use contractions, maybe some slang.
Exactly. You're aiming for rapport, for connection.
Hmm?
But in scenario B, meeting that client, the linguistic register must be formal, strictly formal.
No slang.
Absolutely not. Your introduction has to prioritize your role, your relevant experience, and clear, polished language. You'd use full phrases, avoid informality, and use a high degree of politeness.
So the facts about me, my name, my job, they're identical in both situations.
Yes.
But the whole delivery, the tone, the vocabulary, it's all completely transformed by the context.
And that transformation relies heavily on your demeanor. That's a huge part of pragmatic competence, and it's our first M2 deep dive.
I love that word, demeanor. It feels significant. It suggests more than just your mood. It's about how you present yourself.
It is. So let's start with the spotlight question. What's the difference between demeanor and mood? They seem similar.
Yeah, I might use them interchangeably.
A lot of people do. But the difference is key. Your mood is internal and temporary. It's how you're feeling on the inside right now. Your demeanor is your external behavior, the conduct you show to the world.
Ah, okay. So I might be in a really bad mood because I was stuck in traffic for an hour.
Right. Fuming on the inside.
But I'm still expected to maintain a calm, professional demeanor when I walk into that big client meeting.
That is the perfect distinction. Demeanor is the public face you choose to present, no matter what's happening internally. So the definition is the way a person looks and behaves, which shows their inner character or feeling to the outside world.
It's a performance, in a way.
A very important one. Let's really dig into this word with our 5 examples to see its range.
Okay, let's hear them.
First, a formal example. We often talk about a lawyer maintaining a composed and serious demeanor in the courtroom. This projects authority and control.
Right, they can't look flustered, even if things are going badly.
Exactly. Now, casual one. When you join a new hobby group, you want to display a relaxed and friendly demeanor. This signals you're approachable and open to making friends.
Makes sense. You don't want to seem standoffish.
For a funny or weird example,
Hmm.
imagine a cat with the demeanor of a grumpy old man, sighing every time you try to pet it. The contrast between the animal and the human-like behavior is what makes it funny.
I have that exact cat. His demeanor is permanently unimpressed.
See? Now, a historical one. If you read about Victorian England, maintaining a stoic, unemotional demeanor was seen as a sign of inner strength and good breeding, especially for men.
Right, the stiff upper lip.
Precisely. And finally, a philosophical example. In a debate, a calm and inquiring demeanor is more effective than an aggressive one. It shows you're seeking truth, not just trying to win.
It's all about that controlled public presentation. But what happens when it goes wrong? When the demeanor is totally mismatched with the situation, like our coat analogy?
Let's do a role play. This is where it gets really clear.
Okay, set the scene.
We're at a super casual industry mixer. It's a low-stakes evening talk about, say, graphic design trends. Everyone's relaxed, chatting. You approach me, but you use a severely formal, rigid demeanor. Go.
Okay, here I go. Adopting a stiff, overly serious tone. Good evening. I trust this event has been satisfactory for your professional goals. I'm Charlie. I find the subject matter presented to be of high importance. How do you do?
Pauses. Sounds slightly taken aback. Hello, Charlie. Everything's fine, thanks. Are
Arr.
you about to give a keynote presentation or something? You seem a little wound up.
Learn up. I am merely demonstrating my professional conduct. I believe precision was required when networking.
Your formal demeanor is actually acting like a huge wall right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't signal professionalism here. It signals rigidity, a lack of social awareness.
Oh, so it's having the opposite effect.
It is. For this setting, connection is the goal. You need to match the energy of the room. You want a relaxed, open demeanor. Something more like, hey, I'm Charlie. Did you catch that last speaker?
Yeah.
That point about typography was pretty cool.
That makes so much sense. The rigidity undercuts the entire goal of being there. My demeanor has to be confident, but also approachable.
Precisely. And let's lock this in with some collocations, the word pairs that go naturally with demeanor. You'll hear these a lot.
Okay, what are they?
Number 1, professional demeanor. This is what you need for that client meeting.
Got it.
2, calm demeanor. Essential for handling a crisis or a difficult conversation.
For sure.
3, serious demeanor, when you're discussing something sensitive or important. 4, confident demeanor. This is kind of the overall goal, projecting self-assurance. And maybe one more, passive demeanor, for when someone seems withdrawn or unassertive.
That's a great list. Now, you mentioned a nuance that demeanor is always perceived behavior. Why is that so important to remember?
Because the entire point of managing your demeanor is to communicate an internal state to the outside world. If you feel nervous inside, but you successfully project a confident demeanor by standing tall and speaking clearly.
Then the listener perceives confidence.
Exactly. And that perception happens instantly. It colors the whole interaction before you even get to your perfectly practiced introduction. It's a tool for managing their impression of you.
Okay, so once we've picked the right coat, the right demeanor, we need the actual structure, the framework, so our minds don't go blank. And you've got this 8-step model.
Yes, and this model is critical because it forces you to go beyond just your name and where you're from. That's where most learners get stuck and the conversation just dies.
The awkward silence.
We're trying to kill the awkward silence. This model ensures your introduction is a launch pad for a real conversation, not just a data dump.
Okay, let's break it down. You grouped it into 3 parts: the essentials, the strategic elements, and the rapport builders.
Correct. So the essentials, steps 1 through 4, these are the facts everyone needs. Step 1, greeting. Simple. Hello. Hi. Good morning.
Easy.
Step 2, name. Your identity, full name in formal settings, maybe just your first name if it's casual.
Got it.
Step 3, location. But don't just say, I'm from Spain. Add a little context. A great phrase is, I grew up in place, but I've been living here for a year. It gives history and current status all at once.
Oh, that's good. It's much more conversational.
And step 4, role or occupation. What you do. I work as a software engineer, or I'm currently studying history. This is the core data.
And I think for most learners, that's where it stops.
Right.
Name, location, job, then panic.
Total panic.
Yeah.
But the real conversation doesn't even begin until you get to steps 5 and 6, which are the strategic elements.
Okay, so step 5 is the background highlight. How do I know what to highlight?
It's whatever makes your role interesting or relevant to the specific meeting. If you're at a tech conference, you highlight your experience with a certain programming language. If it's social, maybe you mention why you moved to the city. It's the context that gives your job meaning.
I see. So it's not just, I'm an engineer. It's, I'm an engineer specializing in the exact technology this conference is about.
Exactly. And then step 6, which is crucial. The purpose of the meeting. Why are you here?
Why is this so important, especially in professional English?
Because it gives the listener a reason to keep listening. It's a hook. If you're at a finance conference and you say, I'm here because I want to connect with other professionals interested in sustainable investment, you immediately signal your tribe. You give them a reason to engage.
Without that, the whole intro feels kind of random. Like, okay, cool, you're an engineer. So what?
You called it the guiding star. It shows you're not just wandering aimlessly. It gives the conversation direction.
I like that, the guiding star. Okay, so then we move to the final 2 steps, the rapport and flow builders.
Yes. Step 7 is a personal detail for rapport. This is a hobby, a passion, something you enjoy outside of work. In my free time, I love hiking, or I'm a huge fan of classic movies.
That's what makes you a human being, not just a job title. It makes you memorable.
Totally. And finally, the most important step of all, step 8, the closing or transition.
I feel like this is the magic key. This is the step that avoids that awful, painful silence that follows most introductions.
It is the single most crucial step for maintaining flow. The closing must be an open-ended question that immediately passes the conversational ball to the listener. It establishes reciprocity. And that's our next M2 deep dive.
Okay, reciprocity. I hear that word in like sociology or economics. How does it apply to a conversation?
It translates perfectly, so let's do the spotlight. What's the difference between reciprocity and a monologue?
A monologue is one person talking at you. Reciprocity sounds like a two-way street.
It's exactly that. The definition of reciprocity is the practice of exchanging things, especially the mutual give and take you need to keep a conversation going. A monologue is just a one-way information dump.
So if I give a perfect 7-step introduction, but I forget step 8, the question, it's still a monologue. I've just dropped the ball and left the other person to do all the work.
You've forced them to work. Reciprocity makes it easy and smooth. Let's think about this with our 5 examples.
Okay.
1. A formal example. In a negotiation, you establish reciprocity. One side offers a concession, like a lower price, and then says, now what can you offer in return? It's a direct invitation to reciprocate.
Give and take.
Right. A casual one. I tell you about my weekend, then I immediately ask, what about you? Did you get up to anything fun? That's social reciprocity.
That's just being a good conversationalist.
It is. For a funny one, imagine a kid who only shares their toys if you give them a cookie first. That's a very basic, very funny form of reciprocity.
Transactional. I like it.
A historical one. Ancient trade routes were built on the principle of reciprocity. One village would trade salt for another village's silk, and that mutual exchange built relationships.
And a philosophical one.
Many ethical systems are based on reciprocity. The gold ruler, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, is the ultimate statement of reciprocal behavior.
That makes perfect sense. The power of that closing question in step 8 is that it shows you're actually interested in the other person.
It establishes trust. Okay, let's do a role play to feel the difference. I'll be the speaker, you be the nervous listener. First, I'm going to give a full 7-step intro, but I'll stop right before step 8. Feel the awkwardness.
Okay, I'm ready to feel awkward.
Clears throat. Hi, my name is Jamie. I'm originally from Dublin, but I've been living in Vancouver for a few years, working as an English coach. I specialize in corporate communication. In my free time, I love hiking the local trails and finding new coffee shops. Stop speaking.
After a noticeable pause,
Yeah.
that's great, yeah. Coffee shops are nice. So, what kind of corporate communication do you do? Sounds like he's struggling to find a question.
See, I gave you all the info, but I didn't give you a clear next step. You had to work to keep it going.
I really did. I was scrambling.
Now let's restart.
Wow.
Full 8-step intro with the crucial transition.
Hi, my name's Jamie. I'm originally from Dublin, but I've been living in Vancouver, working as an English coach specializing in corporate communication. In my free time, I love hiking and finding new coffee shops. So that's a bit about me. What about you? What brings you here today?
So much better. It's a direct, polite, clear invitation. The pressure is completely gone. I can just relax and give my own introduction.
That's the power of it. And let's look at the collocations. We talk about social reciprocity, the principle of reciprocity, and the goal is to establish reciprocity. When it fails, there's a lack of reciprocity.
And the nuance you mentioned is using a transitional sentence. Yes, like, so that's a bit about me. It's a bridge. It signals, I'm done talking about myself, now it's your turn. It actively moves the conversation over that bridge.
Okay, so the structure gives us a safety script, and the strategy, purpose, and reciprocity turns that script into a real tool for connection.
Now we just have to make sure that tool isn't weakened by small but persistent grammar mistakes.
Let's get to the fixes.
Let's do it.
So this section is huge because we're not talking about beginner mistakes anymore. We're talking about those tricky errors that stick around, the ones that can subtly undermine your professionalism.
Yes, and we'll start with fixed phrases and verb structures. The biggest problem here is that learners try to map the grammar of their own language directly onto English.
It's a logical thing to do,
Yeah.
especially with verbs like recommend or suggest. So let's start with mistake A. I recommend you to go. Why is that wrong? It sounds perfectly logical. I'm recommending you to do an action.
It is logical, but the verb recommend just doesn't work that way in English. It's a fixed rule you have to memorize. When you say, I recommend you to go, it's a dead giveaway that you're translating in your head.
Which instantly makes you sound less fluent.
Exactly. So we have to burn the 3 correct patterns into our brains.
Okay, what are they?
Number 1, and this is the most common spoken form, recommend plus the gerund, the ing form. I recommend trying the sushi here. Or, she recommends booking your tickets in advance.
Okay, recommend doing something. Got it.
Number 2 is even simpler. Recommend plus a noun. Can you recommend a good book? Or, I wouldn't recommend that restaurant.
Simple enough?
And number 3 is the most formal, really useful for business emails. Recommend plus that, plus subject, plus the base verb.
The base verb. What do you mean?
I mean the infinitive without to, for example. We recommend that she submit her application early. Not submits, just submit.
Oh, that's a tricky one. I recommend that he be on time.
Exactly. It's called the subjunctive mood. But you don't need to know the name. Just remember the pattern. And the good news is the verb suggest follows these exact same 3 patterns.
Okay, that makes it easier to remember. Now, mistake B, prepositions with married. This feels like a tiny detail, but it's a huge flag, isn't it? The error is saying, I'm married with Will.
It's a huge flag. And I think it happens because in many other languages, the word for with is used to describe the union.
Right, it's a classic translation trap.
It is, but in English, it's an absolute rule.
Yeah.
You are always married to someone. She's been married to him for 10 years. The spouse is the recipient of the action.
Okay, married to, always. But there's a nuance here, right? You can use married with.
You can, but it means something totally different. You use married with children to describe the structure of your family. For example, he's married with 3 kids. The with describes the children, not the spouse.
Ah, that's a brilliant distinction. Married to your spouse, but married with children. Okay. Now for the big one, the explain trap. Mistake C saying, she explained me the rules. I hear this all the time, even from very advanced speakers.
This is a top priority fix. The verb explain takes an object, yes, but that object must be the thing you are explaining, not the person.
So why? Why is English like that?
Because the concept of explain is about making an idea clear. It's not about transferring that idea to a person. The focus is on the idea itself.
So the rules are the object. She explained the rules.
Exactly. And if you want to include the person who received the explanation, you have to connect them with a preposition to.
She explained the rules to me. Or could you explain the process to us?
Perfect. And of course, if you just want to pause and clarify something yourself, you say, please let me explain. No object needed there at all.
And if you use explain me in a business meeting, it just sounds jarring, unpolished. And this is where that concept of undermine comes in.
It really is. Let's do a deep dive on that word.
Okay, so the spotlight question. What's the difference between undermine and, say, destroy?
Great question. Destroy is sudden and complete. It's like a building collapsing. Undermine means to weaken something's effectiveness, power, or confidence. But slowly, subtly, and gradually. It's like digging a tunnel under the building's foundation until it becomes unstable.
It's a slow, silent process of damage. So one single grammar mistake won't destroy your credibility.
Right.
But using explain me or I recommend you to go over and over again, it gradually chips away at the listener's confidence in you.
That's it, exactly. Your idea might be a 10 out of 10, but the flawed delivery can bring the perceived credibility of that idea down to a 7. Let's look at the 5 examples.
Let's do it.
1. Formal. Constant criticism from the manager began to undermine the team's morale. It didn't destroy it overnight, it weakened it over time.
I see.
2. Casual. Skipping your homework will seriously undermine your chances of passing the exam.
Each missed assignment makes the foundation weaker.
Yes. 3. A funny one. My dog's attempts to help with the gardening only serve to undermine my efforts to grow tomatoes. He digs them up slowly, one by one.
Huh. I can picture that.
4. Historical. The spy's mission was to secretly undermine the enemy government by spreading misinformation. Again, a slow, gradual weakening of trust.
And a philosophical one.
You could argue that a lack of critical thinking can undermine the very foundations of a democratic society. It erodes it from within.
That's a powerful idea. Let's do a scenario. I'm giving a huge presentation on financial data. My analysis is brilliant.
Okay, brilliant data. But every time you switch slides, you use flawed language. You say, I recommend you to look at this chart and now let me explain you the variables.
So what's happening in the client's mind?
The strength of your analysis is still there, but the small, consistent grammar flaws start to undermine confidence in your overall precision. The client might start thinking, well, if they're not precise with their language, are they really precise with these numbers?
Wow. It's not a conscious thought, but it creates a feeling of doubt.
It's that slow, silent damage. And that's why the collocations are so important. You can undermine confidence, undermine authority, or do it subtly undermine. And if it's really bad, it can fundamentally undermine your entire argument. The nuance is that gradual, often invisible damage.
This is so important. Okay, let's move on to some more structural fixes.
Conditionals and conjunctions. Next is mistake D, using will after if or when for the future.
Right. The logic is I'm talking about the future, so I should use the future tense twice, for example. I will call you when I will get home. It feels logical, but it's wrong. Why?
Because it's redundant. In English, when you have a clause that starts with a time marker like when, if, as soon as, or before, that little word already signals the future condition. You don't need will again.
So the fix is to use the simple present tense in that part of the sentence.
Exactly. The correct version is, I will call you when I get home. Remember that rule? I'll start dinner as soon as she arrives, not as soon as she will arrive.
The main clause already tells us it's the future. Got it. Okay, next up, mistake E, the conjunction even. The error is using even all by itself, like they kept walking, even they were tired.
Right. Even needs a friend. It can't connect two full clauses on its own. You have to use either even though or even if.
And knowing the difference between those two is a massive indicator of fluency.
It really is. We use even though when we're talking about a fact, something real, something true. For example, I'm going to finish this report even though I am exhausted. My exhaustion is a fact.
Okay, even though for facts. And we use even if for something that is hypothetical or imaginary. And that's our next deep dive.
It is. So the spotlight.
Yeah.
What's the difference between hypothetical and proven?
Proven is a fact. It's real. Hypothetical is a what if.
Exactly. The definition. Hypothetical means based on possible or assumed facts rather than reality. Something proposed for the sake of argument. Using even if signals to your listener that you are entering an imaginary world.
Let's do the 5 examples to get a feel for it.
Okay. 1. Formal. For our business plan, we need to create a hypothetical scenario where sales decrease by 20%. It's not real yet, but we have to imagine it.
For stress test.
Right. 2. Casual. Your friend says, ugh, I wouldn't take that job, even if they offered me double the salary. The double salary is a hypothetical offer.
An imaginary condition.
3. A funny or weird one. What would you do in the hypothetical situation of a zombie apocalypse? It's a classic fun thought experiment.
I would hide. Definitely hide.
4. Historical. Historians often ask hypothetical questions like, what might have happened if this battle had been lost? It helps them understand the importance of real events.
In a philosophical one.
Philosophers use hypothetical dilemmas, like the famous trolley problem, to explore our moral intuitions without the messiness of a real situation.
So even though is for reality, even if it's for what if, let's do a quick role play to lock it in.
Okay, I'll give you a situation, and you decide if it needs even though or even if.
Ready?
Situation 1. The car is very expensive.
Yeah.
But I am going to buy it anyway. This is a real situation.
Okay, that's a fact. So I am going to buy that car, even though it is expensive.
Perfect. Now, situation 2. I am not rich, but imagine I was. I still wouldn't buy that car.
That's imaginary, a hypothetical. I wouldn't buy that car, even if I were rich.
You've got it perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
And notice you used I were rich, which is the correct subjunctive for a hypothetical. That's advanced stuff.
Look at me go.
And the collocations reflect this. Purely hypothetical scenario, hypothetical question. It's all about imagined world.
This is so clear now. Okay, one last and maybe the most frustrating grammar point in this section. Mistake F. Indirect question word order. The error, I don't know, where is Diego? It's so frustrating because the direct question is, where is Diego?
It's so frustrating. The brain wants to use the question form everywhere. We need a full M1 concept section for this.
I think you had a great analogy, the secret agent.
Yes, the secret agent analogy. Think of the question word where, what, who, when as a secret agent.
Okay, James Bond.
Exactly. When the agent is on its own mission, a direct question like, where is Diego? He wears his special question uniform. And that uniform is verb plus subject order, is Diego.
Okay.
But when the agent has to go undercover, embedded inside a bigger sentence like, I don't know, or can you tell me, he has to blend in. He has to change into the normal uniform of the team.
And the normal uniform is statement order.
The normal uniform is subject plus verb. So the secret agent has to follow the team's rules.
So I don't know where Diego is. Subject, then verb.
You got it. The introductory phrase, I don't know, is a statement. So the clause that follows must also be in statement order.
And this is true even if the whole sentence is a question, right? Like if I start with, do you know?
Correct. The main clause is the question, so the sentence ends with a question mark.
Right.
But the embedded part, the secret agents part, still uses statement order. Do you know what time it is? Not what time is it?
Wow. That analogy makes it so much clearer. The agent has to blend in with the main sentence. That's a high-level fluency marker right there.
It is a big one. Master that, and you'll sound much more polished.